In a frostbitten Vermont town, every midnight, a wolf's howl tore through the silence. The folks of Cold Hollow were chilled to the bone. Ghost, a gaunt wolf with ghostly gray eyes, stalked the ruins of an old mill, howling with eerie desperation, his cries echoing over snow-dusted hills. For years ago, Sarah, a mill worker who tamed Ghost, vanished in a fire that gutted the mill, leaving the town haunted. Now, Ghost's howl sharpened, his gaze locked on the mill's charred doors, as if they hid a secret. Ranger Mike, who mourned Sarah, felt dread and a flicker of hope. Was Ghost summoning her spirit, or guarding a darker truth? His howls wove fear and mystery, chilling Cold Hollow's heart. What drove Ghost's midnight cries? The truth would freeze the town in awe. It began one icy January night, as moonlight bathed Cold Hollow's hills. Ranger Mike, a weathered park warden, was checking traps when Ghost's howl pierced the air. The wolf, his gray fur stark against the snow, stood in the mill's ruins, howling at a charred door, his gray eyes glowing with unearthly focus. Mike gripped his flashlight, calling out, but Ghost's gaze never wavered, claws scraping ash, as if something lurked beyond. Ghost had been Sarah's companion, trailing her through Cold Hollow's woods 4 years ago. Sarah, a mill worker with a gentle smile, was the town's light, teaching Ghost to sit for treats. But one night, a fire consumed the mill, and Sarah vanished. No body, no answers, only a grieving town. Ghost's howls became his dirge, a midnight ritual that haunted Cold Hollow. Every night, Ghost slunk from the forest to the mill, howling until dawn, his cries drifting over frozen fields. Jenny, a teenage barista and Sarah's niece, tracked his paw prints, her scarf trailing, fearing he'd draw hunters. Her younger brother, Tim, 12 and imaginative, swore Ghost saw Sarah's ghost in the mill. Mike asked locals. No strange sounds came from the ruins. The diner buzzed with whispers. Maybe Ghost smelled Sarah's scarf, buried in the ash. Jenny tried waving it near the door. Ghost ignored it, his howls sharpening. Mike's throat tightened. Ghost was Cold Hollow's phantom, their tie to Sarah's warmth. Was he summoning her spirit or unraveling in despair? The town's love for Ghost was fierce, but so was their fear. Mike searched the mill, rusted gears, ash piles, nothing odd. Yet Ghost's howls grew wilder, rattling windows, chilling hearts. Jenny filmed his midnight vigils, posting them online with captions like, "He's guarding something." Tim taped Sarah's photo to the mill's wall, hoping it would soothe Ghost. It didn't. At the diner, Old May, a retired teacher, mentioned a strange truck near the mill before the fire, its driver long gone. Mike's pulse raced. Could it be a clue? The whisper of that truck spread, a faint ember in Cold Hollow's frost. But Ghost's howls remained unanswered, his eyes boring into the door, a wolf driven by a hidden force. The mystery gripped the town, their devotion to Ghost tangled with dread. Was he chasing a ghost, or a truth too dark to face? Cold Hollow couldn't endure Ghost's torment. Mike set up a motion camera by the mill's door, hoping to catch what drew him. The footage showed Ghost pacing, howling at the door, sometimes clawing ash, then slumping, weary, as dawn crept in. Jenny sifted through the ruins, her gloves black with soot, finding only rusted bolts and charred wood. The town took Ghost's behavior to Dr. Ellis, a wildlife vet who studied his tracks. "He's healthy," Dr. Ellis said, patting Ghost's flank from a distance. "Maybe territorial." Mike shook his head, his voice low. "He's not claiming ruins, document. He's searching." Ghost's howls persisted, every midnight, a chilling cry that rattled Cold Hollow's quiet. They tried everything. Jenny stayed up, watching Ghost from the diner's lot, whispering to calm him. He still howled. Mike boarded the mill's door. Ghost scratched at it, leaving claw marks. The diner's cook, Hank, suggested playing Sarah's old work whistle, a sound Ghost loved. Jenny found a recording on Tim's phone, playing it through the ruins. Ghost's ears flicked, his head tilting, but his howls grew fiercer, a wail of anguish. Old May stopped by one snowy night, her eyes sharp. "Wolves know death," she said, sipping tea. "Maybe Sarah's spirit lingers." Mike scoffed, his hands rough from patrols, but Jenny clung to May's words, desperate for answers. The town's nerves frayed. Some locals feared ghost howls would draw predators, suggesting relocation. Jenny's eyes welled at the diner, her voice cracking. "Ghost is Sarah's soul," she said, gripping Tim's hand. "We can't abandon him." Tim shared a tale from school. A wolf in Canada led hunters to a hidden grave, like a sentinel. What if ghosts like that? He asked, his eyes wide. Mike's heart flickered. Could it be true? They checked missing persons files. Sarah's case was cold, a forgotten tragedy. Jenny's videos of ghosts went viral, sparking comments like, "This wolf's haunted." But leads, calls, texts were dead ends, cruel hoaxes, or mistakes. One evening, a drifter at the diner mentioned seeing a woman like Sarah near a quarry before the fire, clutching a strange key. Mike's breath caught, but the drifter vanished, leaving no trace. The story spread, rekindling Cold Hollow's hope. The local paper ran Ghost's tale with a photo of him at the mill, captioned, "Cold Hollow's Phantom Guardian." They posted Ghost Watch flyers around town, begging for tips. But weeks passed, and the flyers froze in the snow. Mike sat with Jenny by the mill one midnight, the frost biting, watching Ghost howl, his cries a dagger through the dark. Tim crept up, whispering, "What if Sarah's trapped in there?" Mike shivered. Impossible, yet Ghost's eyes burned with certainty. The mystery was suffocating Cold Hollow, their love for Ghost battling fear. Was his faith a sign, or a chilling echo of a woman lost forever? One frozen midnight, the truth clawed free. Ghost's howl morphed into a bone-chilling, otherworldly wail, shaking the mill's ruins. He clawed at the door, his cries slicing through the blizzard like a warning. Mike, jolted awake, stumbled to the mill, his heart pounding. Ghost was a spectral figure, fur-dusted with snow, eyes wild, as if the door hid a secret he could no longer bear. Jenny and Tim rushed over, coats flapping, their faces pale. "He's possessed," Mike shouted, grabbing a crowbar. Jenny's hands shook as she tore at the boards, ghost wails drowning her thoughts. The door splintered open, revealing a dark cellar. Ghost surged forward, but Mike blocked him, his breath hitching. A faint sound, a woman's whisper, drifted from below. Cold Hollow froze, the storm heavier than the hills. Mike's flashlight swept the cellar, landing on a figure curled in the shadows, gaunt, shivering, with Sarah's gentle eyes. Ghost lunged, howling softly, nuzzling her tear-streaked face. Sarah, frail but alive, sobbed, clutching Ghost, whispering, "You knew, boy." Jenny screamed, a raw cry of awe, and threw herself into Sarah's arms. Tim followed, tears streaming, his hands gripping her sleeve. Mike sank to his knees, tears blurring his vision. Sarah, alive after 4 years, hidden in the mill's cellar. But Sarah's hands trembled, her eyes haunted, clutching a key etched with Ghost's paw print. How had she survived? Why here? Ghost's wail softened, but he stayed glued to Sarah, eyes glowing. Burn sketches in the cellar hinted at arson, a crime unsolved. The blizzard howled outside, the cellar air thick with questions. Was Sarah safe? Had Ghost sensed her all along? The reunion was a miracle, but shadows lingered. Cold Hollow stood still, hearts frozen, as the truth teetered on the edge. Sarah's story chilled Cold Hollow. The mill fire was arson, set to cover a theft, and Sarah, trapped in the cellar, survived on rainwater and scraps, too injured to escape. Ghost's key, hidden in her pocket, kept her tethered to hope. She'd crawled back to the mill after months in hiding, too broken to face the town. Ghost howls, sensing her scent through the ruins, urged her to emerge. The town wept, not from fear but awe. Ghost wasn't just a wolf. He was a sentinel, proving loyalty can pierce the darkest shadows. Mike hugged Ghost, tears falling. "You saved her," he whispered. Sarah, scarred but smiling, stroked Ghost, her eyes softening. The town gathered at the mill, hands brushing Sarah, marveling at Ghost. The cellar, once a tomb, became a symbol of hope. Jenny and Tim clung to their aunt, their family whole. Locals brought hot cider, blankets, vowing to find the arsonist. Ghost still prowled the mill some nights, but his howls were soft content. Cold Hollow would never forget his lesson. Loyalty can guide us through the darkest nights, urging us to trust those who stand by us. Ghost's story is chilling, isn't it? His loyalty brought Sarah home and froze our hearts. Subscribe for more spine-tingling tales that'll haunt your soul. Hit the bell so you don't miss our next video about a cat's eerie secret. Comment below. Has an animal ever spooked you like Ghost? Share your story with our Cold Hollow community. Dive into our playlist for more creepy tales and join us to unravel the unknown. Let's keep these chills alive together.